Am I the a-hole for telling the bride about an affair? I'm 27 female, and my cousin, 27 female, is the same age as me. I will call her Alexis. We were raised like sisters, except she treated me weird always and always made me feel bad somehow. My very first boyfriend she stole and had sex with. She made this a habit. She would try to sleep with any guy I was interested in, and was even successful twice. I'm also bisexual, and she's straight, and she even hit on girls that I've dated, then denies it. As an adult, she apologized and we made amends. I thought she grew out of it. Now she's getting married, and invited me. I was dating a girl for a few weeks, so I asked her to bring her, and Alexis said yes. Me and my new girlfriend went over to Alexis's place together. I met her fiance, and they met my girlfriend. It seemed to go fine. We talked about dresses and wedding things. A couple of days later, my girlfriend randomly dumped me, and then blocked me. Our mutual friend told me she was now posting pictures and Snapchats with Alexis's fiance, like they were together. So my girlfriend dumped me to be with my cousin's fiance. My friend showed me the pics, so I saw them with my own eyes. I had her screenshot them and send me a few. I tried to break it to Alexis as gently as I could. She did not see the pictures yet because she was not friends with my girlfriend. When she saw them, she was furious and accused me of photoshopping the pictures to ruin her wedding and get back at her because my boyfriends were always more attracted to her. I tried reasoning with her, telling her I wasn't trying to hurt her and that I was sorry. She got even more upset and accused me, and my now ex-girlfriend, of trying to seduce her husband. Am I the a-hole here? They are still getting married, but my family accuses me of trying to ruin her marriage and are believing all her lies about me. But I think I might be the a-hole. I wish I had just said I didn't want to go in the first place. First thought coming from underside down. Not the a-hole. She's blaming you because it's easier to kill the messenger than leave her fiancé. Next thought comes from Stomach Jr. This is karma work. You are not the bad person in this. Like, how could you predict this? The fiancé must be pure trash. So close to the wedding and cheating? Wow, and she is still marrying this garbage. Just keep the distance, OP. You do not need these people in your life. The next weigh-in coming from Cascade. Sounds like she hasn't changed much. Classic case of shoot the messenger. She doesn't want to face her partner's cheating and blow up her whole future plans. It's easier for her if you are just this terrible vindictive shrew out to sabotage her. She knows it's not Photoshop. That's why she's so angry. You did the moral thing and made sure she could make her life decisions with all the information. Not your fault she went with denial of reality. I would take several big steps away from this big old raging dumpster fire. Disengage. Uninvite yourself. They are closing ranks, and no nice reasonable adult conversation will fix that. Once she catches him a few more times, she might come limping back. Then you can decide if you want someone who treats you like this back. Our next thought coming from Try Again. Not the a-hole. Don't go to the wedding, obviously, and keep your distance from her. If she doesn't believe you, that's on her and caused by her bad actions. If she had never cheated with your boyfriends, she wouldn't be accusing you of this, or she would have made up a different excuse. Point is, her bad acts are coming back, and you're in the clear. Next comment from Galaxine. Not the a-hole. Informing someone that their partner is being unfaithful is never a-hole behavior unless you're lying to hurt them. Period. Moving on to the next, reach out for advice. Am I the a-hole? Bought my ex-wife a new car and helped her with some bills. Now my wife is mad. My ex-wife was a stay-at-home mom during our 16-year marriage, and since we got married very young, she has very little job experience and is in her 40s. She works at a diner as a waitress currently. She no longer receives alimony from me since she remarried, automatically stopping the payments which were originally lifetime, due to the fact that she was in her mid-30s with no education or job experience. Well, now that they divorced, she's had to get a job, since unlike with me, she didn't get hardly any spousal support from her last husband. The thing is, she doesn't make enough to really do much of anything. I have a lot of disposable income, like more than people reading this would be willing to believe. And she has no disposable income. She fell way behind on bills and reached out to me as a last resort. So I asked my wife, thinking she'd say okay. She did not. And almost immediately after my ex and her car were involved in an accident, she had a hospital bill which totaled $77K. And I paid that expense, along with buying her a new car, and gave her money to catch up on bills, with extra to pay her monthly expenses till she gets back on her feet. My wife was pissed when she found out. She claims my ex needs to fend for herself. But my ex is only in this position because she had to drop out to take care of our baby, and ended up just staying at home. When we split, she didn't have the credentials to make a living wage. I had quite literally no choice. I told her it would be cruel to watch the woman who enabled me to get where I am suffer. She lost it, and now won't talk to me. Let's see what the community thinks. A-hole or not the a-hole? First judgment from Merciful Alien. Not the a-hole. I can see how your current wife might be bothered by this, but at the same time, she's the mother of your child and you had the ability to help. Personally, I'd prefer my husband not to be selfish if this were a situation we were in. Broken landmine moves in. Difficult. I would say not the a-hole though. You acknowledge your ex made sacrifices and you want to show gratitude. I would say that makes you a caring person who wants to do right by the mother of his kid. Next judgment from Mac Miles. Not the a-hole. It's one thing if she would be pestering you for money or trying to take advantage of you, but it's another if they're down on their luck. It's important to take care of the people that got you where you are, and that you've spent a significant amount of your life with. You ultimately went separate paths, but that doesn't mean you should watch them crumble. What you did was incredibly generous, and I'm sure it doesn't go without appreciation. That kind of act is honestly life-changing for the recipient, and incredibly rewarding for you as well. I understand your wife's point of view, but I think she should really try to widen her horizons to see the bigger picture. You're not being extorted. You've made the decision yourself as an adult and weighed any repercussions. Next up, am I the a-hole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding? So to start, I, 15 non-binary, am refusing to go to my sister's 26 female wedding. This is going to be hard to write. I love my sister. I think she's great, and I feel kind of bad for doing this, but I just can't put up with what's going on. Basically, the other day, my sister had invited me and my family to go to her wedding. It's been in the works for a while now. However, the location of the wedding has been, let's just say, a big problem for their planning. They had a lot of trouble finding a place to have their wedding, be it due to COVID restrictions, the place canceling on her, etc., etc. Well, when we open our invitation, the location the marriage is going to take place is actually at a church me and my family used to be a part of. This is where the problem arises. This church was incredibly homophobic to me when it came out as gay, and subsequently when it came out as boy flux. And we left on horrible terms. My parents didn't see any problem with this. However, I did. So, I promptly texted my sister and told her that I would not be coming due to where the wedding was being held. She told me that nobody from the church would be at the church, which I doubted, but even if that was the case, I don't feel comfortable being in that building. Funnily enough, my sister was actually understanding and told me that if I wanted, I could join her, my parents, and the rest of our immediate family at Olive Gardens, if I wanted, for the reception. The wedding is going to be small anyways, so it makes sense she wants the reception to just be our immediate family. I agreed to this and said I would love to go with them to the reception. I just wouldn't be there for the actual wedding portion. My parents happened to walk in on me as I was typing this, and they were the ones to go off on me. They said, "You're too selfish to be at your sister's wedding," and all because some people were crappy to you. Mind you, they were crappy to my parents as well. I'd lost it. I told them that they were horrible people. I packed my crap and I stayed at my friend's house for the night. Now I am back at my house, writing this, and they are still mad at me, trying to say I have to go, etc. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole? Insert your own comments down below for this one, because we're moving on. Am I the a-hole for telling my soon-to-be mother-in-law that my engagement ring is cursed? I, female 26, just got engaged. My soon-to-be mother-in-law is a nightmare. We are currently renovating a part of our place, and she has been lent a key in the meantime because she keeps coming over uninvited under the guise of helping clean up. But she really just likes to snoop and interfere. I do a martial art and take my engagement ring off before class. I came home from an afternoon class one day and my engagement ring was not in the jewelry dish that I usually leave it in. I asked her about it, and she told me that she'd taken it to a jeweler to get it cleaned. She looked super smug about it, and when I asked which jeweler, she pretended she couldn't remember. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of having a reaction to it, so I just let it slide for a couple of days. A couple of days pass and I ask her about it again, and she's super vague, still pretending she can't remember which jeweler and saying she's too busy to go pick it up anytime soon. So I said, "Wow, I really feel for that jeweler. Hope nothing happens to her." She asked what I meant, and I told her that my superstitious Brazilian grandmother had performed some traditional ritual on it that's usually known to curse anyone who takes or handles the ring other than the owner. She looked uneasy and asked me a couple more questions about the ritual, and I made some story up about how my mother's ring had been taken by a burglar who was crushed by a pillar of cement on his way out of the house. I totally made this entire ritual up, and I do have a Brazilian grandmother, but obviously she did not do some ritual to my ring. The next day, my fiancée told me while I was out that she was there to clean up a bit. Lo and behold, I get home, she had already left, and find my ring where I had left it. It didn't look any cleaner than it had before, huh? A week later, I received an abusive call from her saying she'd been in a minor car accident and she was blaming me and my witch doctor grandmother, saying she was now cursed for having touched it. I passed the phone to my fiancé who tried to calm her down, but she was hysterical. I told my fiancé what I had told her, and he scolded me a bit, because we both know how she is, and I should have known she'd react this sort of way. It's been a further week since then, and she refuses to talk to me and keeps slandering me to my fiancé. Overall, he sort of recognizes how ridiculous she's being, but the drama of the situation is making me wonder if the whole curse tale was taking it a bit too far. So, am I the a-hole? Update. I really did not expect for this sort of response to this post. Thank you all so much for the awards. Fiance and I have had a big chat, and he's admitted he has to step up when it comes to his mother. He retrieved her key an hour ago, and he told her not to worry about the curse because it would have no effect on anyone who touched it without malicious intent. Big thank you to the commenters who suggested that absolutely gold approach. Our first reaction from TN Scatterbrain. Not the a-hole. That's hilarious. The nerve of her taking your ring. She deserves the curse. I'm just sorry it's causing trouble for you. I kind of think your fiancé earned it by tolerating her behavior and not having changed the locks already. Also, have you checked her ring? I don't understand why she'd take it unless it was to keep it away from you. Does she disapprove of the engagement? Or of you taking it off, even if it's for a good reason? Was she going to swap stones or claim to have lost it? I'd really need to know her motivation for taking it. You might want to come clean before she meets your grandmother at the wedding, though. OP responds, she's never vocally disagreed with the engagement, but she has definitely interfered. I personally think it was just to mess with me or keep it from me. I really don't know. I don't think she ever even took it to a jeweler, to be honest. Next thought coming from Duty Valuable. She didn't take it to the jeweler. She took it because she's a thief. That's a whole nother issue you need to resolve, starting with changing the locks. Also, you and your fiancé need to figure out how to stop her from messing with you, or else this will be a strain on your entire marriage, especially if you have children. However, don't beat superstition with logic. You beat it with more superstition. You need to get your mother-in-law to believe that she personally lifted the curse so you could all move on with your lives. Tell your mother-in-law that you spoke to your grandmother to get clarity on the curse. Personally, I would tell your mother-in-law that grandma said that the curse only applies to thieves, so you don't know why mother-in-law is so convinced she's cursed, especially since she only took it to be cleaned. And grandma told you the secret antidote only because you're family. And then give her a procedure to do that's not too crazy, but crazy enough that you can enjoy yourself knowing she's totally going to do it. Again, the point is to get your mother-in-law to believe that the curse has been lifted. Although, I would add that grandma said the thief has to apologize for stealing, but that might be more trouble than it's worth. Maybe make your mother-in-law believe that she has to bathe in goat's milk and pine cones after chanting the counter spell, which can be something random that you write in Portuguese. Just bear in mind that if grandma is planning on coming to the wedding, you need to play interception or at least warn her beforehand. All joking aside, you and your husband need to plan interference with how his mother is treating you. Otherwise, this really could negatively affect your relationship. Good luck and please update us.